Okay, in the next two sections we're going to be looking at fractions. We will be multiplying, dividing, adding, and subtracting. But before we do that, we need to talk a little bit about what fractions actually are. You think, well, I know what a fraction is. And so if I write the fraction 3 over 4, and I say, what do you see on the page? You may say, well, I see 3/4, which I've written it like that, indicates that we're talking about parts out of the whole. So we have, say this is the whole, it's a pizza, and I'm really hungry today, so I'm going to divide that pizza into 4. So that tells us how much that whole is divided into, and how many pieces do I get? Well, I'm going to say I get 3 out of those 4 pieces, or 3/4 of that pizza. So the two numbers that you see in a fraction, you see in the top is the numerator and the bottom is the denominator. You know that. They serve different functions. Let me clear some space here. The number in top basically tells you how many you get, how many pieces of pizza. And the bottom number tells you, well, of what? I had 3 of those things called fourths, fourth of the pizza. So that's going to be very helpful later when we're starting to add fractions as well. The other thing that fractions indicate, so let's just make a note. Ways to view fractions. That first way is what we talked about, and that is equal parts of a whole. And that's probably what we think of when we think of fractions. So I'm just going to remind us what we saw there. There's my pizza. I divide it into fourths, and I get 3 of those pieces. The other part, though, that I'm not sure that you're really familiar with, it also indicates division. So 3, let me clear some space here. 3 over 4 also indicates 3 divided by 4. And you know what's cool about this? This is the only time in mathematics where the problem 3 divided by 4, that's the problem, equals the answer, 3/4. Cool. All right. So, one other thing, in fractions, we know that 12 over 3 equals 4. Why? If I said, why do you know that 12 divided by 3 equals 4? Well, you might say, well, 12 divided by 3 equals 4 because 3 times 4 gives you 12. 3 times 4 gives you 12. So these two statements are kind of equivalent. That's the relationship between division and multiplication. Likewise, 20 over 2, what's that? 10. And the reason is because 2 times 10 gives you 20. All right, so I wanted to talk about this method here of going between division and multiplication, to talk about an extremely important concept with fractions. And that is when you have 0 upstairs or 0 downstairs. So if we take a look at this, we say, okay, what does 0 over 5 equal? In other words, that's another way of saying 0 divided by 5. Well, 0 over 5, so we go, I don't know, but whatever we put here, this number 5 times that should give me 0. So 5 times what gives you 0? Yeah, 5 times 0 gives you 0, so we know 0 over 5 is equal to 0. And I'm going to put that at corresponding multiplication problem. 5 times this 0 gives you this 0. Okay. So likewise, 5 divided by 0 gives you what? Well, let's figure that out. Whatever that is, 0 times what that is should give me 5. So 0 times, what is that? Equals 5. Can we multiply 0 times anything to get 5? Not that I know of. So this doesn't exist. Nothing's there that works. Okay? So when we get a problem like that in which 0 is in the bottom and it doesn't matter what's upstairs. It can be any number. We say that is undefined because there's nothing that works. Okay, I'm going to keep going, but I'm going to stop this one. We're going to talk a little bit more about this in the next video.